anyone really can do it. It's just finding the motivation either after work or
Right.
on the weekends and everything. That's something I really struggled with, telling friends no to
Right.
hanging out. So I confidently say that, if you find the right resources and everything, then you will be successful.
Hi, Blake. Thanks a lot for your time.
How was
Uh,
seem?
I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. I know you're working full time, and you recently passed the exam, and I was really delighted to hear from you about passing this exam in the first attempt. No surprises there, but still, it's a great feeling to hear from students. Every Wednesday, I look forward to emails from my students, both from my FE electrical and PE power students. So yeah, thanks a lot, and many congratulations on this wonderful achievement. Um, so I'd like to start out by asking you your motivation for taking the exam, and if you can provide a little bit of your background, when did you graduate, and what essentially got you on the FE track.
So yeah, I graduated May of 2021, and I studied computer engineering, which is a hybrid of electrical engineering and computer science. Um, I really want to get into the renewable energy sector, and I landed a job at Burns McDonnell, and um, just figured out really right off the bat how I mean the FE is like just the prerequisite for the PE, and
Right.
I want my PE license, professional engineering license, um, so I can the general um, promotion and status that is given in the whole
Yep.
like culture around the professional exam.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted it.
Makes perfect sense. Were you aware of the value of the FE exam and the PE license when you were at school, or is it something that when you entered the industry and you saw the prestige associated with the PE license and the responsibility and obviously the recognition you get, was it during the school or after joining the industry?
I mean, sure, yeah. Senior year, we had our design class, our senior design class, and it was mentioned. The university I went to doesn't really our electrical engineering program didn't really promote it too much.
Okay,
Um, that's because we're mainly focused on software and
I see.
embedded systems. So I heard about it and I kind of joked with myself about like, haha, wouldn't it be funny if I took this? And um, sure enough, I figured out it was a requirement. So yeah.
That's great. So tell me a little bit more about your exam preparation journey. So you definitely had a significant advantage walking into the exam, the fact that you are a recent graduate, but I think you would also agree that whether you are a recent graduate or even if you are still in the school, right, or even taking some of these courses, this is still a challenging exam. You still have to basically put time and effort and go through it. So what was your experience? What was your initial impression of the exam? Do you think that it was going to be as challenging as it turned out to be, or it was easier than you expected?
Yeah, so I usually do a lot of like preparation for anything I do, and so I went to Reddit first of all, and found and just started reading a bunch of posts and everything, and sure, and a lot of preparation tips and stuff were thrown around, but personally, I gave myself three or 4 months before the exam, um, and I used your course. I also bought the NCEES practice exam
Hmm.
for the new version, and also I had the Lindenberg book.
Lindenberg, yeah. Hmm.
Um, and mm, so I guess yeah. So my preparation was that, and just trying to go over stuff I learned in school, and trying to try what are they going to test me on? what is stuff I need to learn and what stuff that's not in the handbook that I need to memorize.
Right. So how did the online course, the on-demand FE electrical and computer exam preparation course help you in streamlining your exam preparation and getting it ready?
So you provided a really nice planner that kind of like went over. I didn't follow it to a T. I don't think anyone can. But it's a really good like tool.
You think it's quite
Um,
aggressive in terms of its timeline, or
oh, well, it's not aggressive if you're like super out of school.
okay,
And but a lot of that stuff I had a really solid foundation like just graduating.
I see.
So uh, I just figured like where are my weaknesses and what is worth my time, and
Right.
then after figuring that out I could like specialize in with your videos and everything, and those are great summaries over some really hard topics, especially stuff that I didn't even touch in school, like the signal modulation, everything.
Okay.
Um, those are extremely helpful.
Yeah, communications and signal processing is one of those areas where I've routinely get emails from students saying, "Hey, Wasim, I never took this in the class. You think that I can still do it by going through your course or lectures or study guide?" And my response is always that, you know what, if you haven't taken any course in a particular area, look at it as a learning opportunity. I know
Hmm.
that, okay, let's say you're a power systems engineer or you want to work in power systems industry. So maybe in the long run, it's going to be irrelevant for you. But the more we try and learn new things, the better we get at learning, right? And it should be a lifelong process. So I agree, the motivational level to get yourself do something which will only be beneficial for a short term is not that high. But if you can look at it as a learning opportunity, and that gives you a chance to sort of absorb knowledge and make sense out of it, it will get you better at learning and figuring things out in general. And I think that's basically what engineering is all about. It's all
I
about problem solving.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So you like the organization, you like the planner, you like the way the concepts were summarized, even the stuff that you hadn't seen before. So uh, it got you exam ready in roughly how long? The course,
I would say 3 months. Yeah.
3 months.
Hmm.
And you also made use of the computer simulated practice exam at the end of the course.
Yeah, that was super helpful. Because I mean, unless you're have like really good structure and can like somehow construct all these practice problems and also like time it, it's super hard. Like, yeah, you could probably do it yourself and everything, but having all those like component pieces all in one like little browser software was extremely beneficial.
Yeah,
And
you can use a stopwatch as well, I guess. But with the computer simulated practice exam, and in fact, all the mini exams in the course, they are all timed, and the
yes.
interface is CBT, so you can go back and forth between questions. You get a diagnostics and everything, and that sort of warms you up for the actual exam as well. Now, tell me a little bit more about your exam day experience. Walking into the exam, how confident you were. Walking out of the exam, what was your feeling? How you manage your time during the exam? How much time you spent in the first half, how much time you spent on the second half, and so on.
Yeah, so I was going in pretty confident. And you know, I was like I built like note cards off of, you know, your questions and questions I've struggled with elsewhere. And so I was just going over that, felt pretty confident. Um, and then like yeah, I'm a notoriously like bad test taker. So I tend to over prepare for stuff. And I felt very prepared, but the questions definitely threw me for a loop. Um, but I had enough like solid foundation to, you know, either guess do an estimated guess or try to move on to something that I was like more comfortable with. Um, you know, I did use the full 6
5 hours and
hours.
5 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
minus the break and stuff. Yeah.
And so yeah, the one thing I will note that there's nothing that pops up on the screen to tell you to take a break. Like you
Right.
have to do that, in which I guess I got confused on something else I saw, but the proctors are really nice, and I noticed it only like 5 minutes after my 2 hours and 50 minutes was up on the first half. And so I took my break and everything. Um, but the exam is super conceptual versus like crunching numbers and calculating and doing like extreme circuit analysis and everything.
So you
Um,
need depth of knowledge as well, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
you need to know like how, like why things do what they do, like in circuits and free like communication systems and the computer architecture. You need to know like how it's structured and like how different things interact with each other.
So you're glad that you over prepared for this exam.
Yes, yes, yes.
Otherwise, it would have been much more challenging, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's good. In terms of your time management, were you able to make full use of time? And did you have to guess on some questions just because you were running out of time, or you were able to manage your time reasonably well?
I'd say I had a guess on 5 questions for each section.
But was it due to time, or was it due to gap in conceptual understanding?
I'd say time.
Okay.
But that's solely, I want to note that that's solely just how I usually do tests.
Okay.
It's not the average person
Yeah.
test taking.
Yeah, I mean, this exam, I mean, it is challenging on multiple fronts. It's a very long exam, and but the amount of time you get per question is very less, and it covers a whole lot of stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
So, so yeah, once again, many congratulations to you, Blake, on getting this thing done. And any advice that you would have for students who are maybe on the fence, thinking about taking this exam, are either too scared to dive into it or are procrastinating for whatever reason, what would be your advice?
Well, yeah, if you graduated like an ABET accredited or even not an ABET accredited university, you have the potential to do it. And anyone really can do it. It's just the hard thing is finding the motivation either after work or
Right.
on the weekends and everything. That's something I really struggled with, telling friends no to
Right.
hanging out and
Yeah.
studying. So I confidently say that, if you find the right resources and everything, then you will be successful.
All right. Thanks a lot for those wonderful words of encouragement and advice. And again, it's really the commitment that counts. And it does get difficult. You're working full time and you have other responsibilities. But if you are using the right exam preparation resources, you execute the game plan perfectly, there's no reason why you couldn't do it. So, yeah, thanks for that, Blake. Thank you.
Yeah.